What does it mean to be deprived of all senses? How is it possible to let go of the body in order to isolate the mind? Where on earth is there a place with no sound, no light, no taste, touch, or smell to distract us? How can a person benefit from a true, out-of-body experience? For centuries upon centuries, Hindus, Buddhists, Transcendentalists, men and women of all ages and all backgrounds have attempted meditation in hopes of finding inner peace, spiritual awareness, deep relaxation, or a oneness with the universe. But amongst the hustle and bustle of modern life, when is there time to become attuned with oneself? How can we escape the inevitable white noise of reality? Meditation in itself is a discipline and requires immense amounts of time and effort to perfect. Is there an easier alternative to tuning out the world? Turns out, there is. In 1954, many scientists wondered what would happen if a person were cut off from all sensory stimulation and from interactions with the world outside. Because of this, physician John Cunningham Lilly created the very first sensory deprivation tank, an isolated tank filled with supersaturated salt water kept at body temperature. The idea is, if one were to enter the tank, they would be cut off from all light, all sound, and float seamlessly, effectively losing touch with their own physical being. Nowadays, sensory deprivation tanks can be used for medical, relaxation, or spiritual purposes, and news of their benefits continue to attract more and more experimenters every day. Ruben Narvaez, peer, colleague, and group member, discovered a documentary all about sensory deprivation on the Vice YouTube channel, and was also deeply inspired by writer and actor Joe Rogan's online podcasts, which feature in-depth lectures promoting sensory deprivation for its spiritual and metaphysical benefits on the body and mind. Intrigued by this, Narvaez urged our documentary group to look into this interesting form of meditation and see for ourselves what it's like in the tank. So we headed to the Adrift Float Spa in Dallas, Texas, curious and enthusiastic about what a session of isolation might do for us. While there, we decided to interview employee James Blair about his opinion on sensory deprivation, the success of the industry, and his own personal experiences.
Yeah, so we've been here 3 years now. You know, when we first started out, obviously you got to build up a clientele, you know what I mean? And I think in Texas, especially in an area like Dallas, something like this is harder to push than a state like California. So you're in California, that's where I'm from. I'm from San Diego. I'm from LA. People there are way more open-minded than here in Dallas. It is what it is. You know? So a concept like this, you really have to build clientele and explain to people. We were the first real float spa anywhere in Dallas, the Dallas area. So we've been here 3 years. So now the business is great. You know what I mean? The last year and a half, 2 years, the business has been good. And the first year it was trial and error. The cabins come in. You know what I mean? We had some issues with some certain things, but so the first year was kind of like getting everything tweaked. So yeah, now it is a successful business. The idea of sensory deprivation growing.
Like the concept of people.
Yeah, without a doubt. So right. So every article that gets written, we have a fluctuation of people, right? So a New York Times article comes out. People come in. I saw there was a question about the Vice. You know, the Vice documentary comes out. People come in because of that. Word of mouth. You know what I mean? So you go tell your friends, oh, hey man, this is awesome, great experience. People come in.
Yeah.
Then you get repeat customers. So I've worked here a year and a half. I've seen a growth of it big time. Joe Rogan's probably the one guy who's pushed floating more than anybody else. Like he probably, like a lot of the smaller float spots and floating in general. I mean, he was probably one of the big people that helped keep it alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he literally, I can't tell you, man. We get a lot of people that come in here. You know, Joe Rogan, I heard his on his podcast, so he's definitely one of the people that pushed it. No, he hasn't been here, but what I'm saying is a lot of people come in and mention that, you know, I heard it from his podcast, I watched a video on him, and you can tell when he talks about it, it's not a sales pitch. He gets no money. You know what I mean? I know he knows the guys down there at Float Lab, and they built his tank for him, but it's not like he gets kickbacks or anything like that. It's like he's just passionate about it, and people understand that, and that's why they come in. So he's helped out a lot. And what draws people to sensory deprivation, usually from what I see when people come in, because, you know, we offer lights, we offer music. So a lot of people come in and they do lights and music. We get a lot of people who come in and it's a spa, so it's kind of like a spa day. And they're like, oh man, you know, Epsom salt's great for you, you know what I mean? I want to relax. But usually when people come in and they want to do sensory deprivation, they've heard it somewhere, you know? So Joe Rogan told them, a good friend told them, and it's more like they want that experience that someone else went through. You know, they want the visuals. They want to kind of drift off. Basically, whatever someone else tells them. So I go out and I tell someone, hey man, you know, I was in there and it was crazy. You know, I saw like a mirror image of myself. I almost like came out of my body for a little bit. You know, and then people hear that and they're like, whoa, wait, what? Or I tell them just different stuff like that as far as sensory deprivation. And then a lot of people come in for physical. It's very therapeutic for the body, you know. So I get in there all the time for being hurt. You know, was really active when I'm younger. I'm still really active. So I constantly, my shoulder hurts, my elbow hurts, both my knees hurt. So like when I'm really sore, when I'm really hurt, I go in there for a couple of days, and the magnesium just draws out so much of that inflammation. Like I come out feeling great. The Vice documentary, we definitely got a good amount of customers come in from the Vice documentary, for sure. You know, no, not like a huge fluctuation, but when it came out, a lot of people said, oh, you know, I watched the Vice documentary. So people still bring it up. You know, only thing about that is, you know, the one thing that I think hurt on that documentary is the fact that they say, hey, you have to eat a brownie before you go and go eat a brownie. You know what I'm saying? Because really, this is my opinion on it. You know, you can achieve what you need to achieve in there completely sober, and I think that should be the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have to enhance yourself before you go back there. You know, so that's the one part about the documentary I didn't like, but it was good, and it was in depth, and it was in detail about stuff. Doing sensory deprivation, floating in general, it's basically what it does is I'm calmer. So let's say I haven't floated in a while. I'm stressed out. I come and I float. I come out that week. Things aren't getting to me that normally would get to me. My body feels better. I'm more relaxed. I'm more positive. I just feel better overall as a person. A lot of it is the magnesium. Magnesium is so good for you. That's a good portion of it is soaking up that much magnesium. Magnesium is so good for your body that you naturally are going to feel good. But doing the sensory deprivation and shutting down your mind, having a really great flow coming out and having that feeling, I mean, that just, man, I mean, my weeks are better, everything in my body, for me, I physically feel so much better. So it's almost like, I always tell people it's a great overall body, mind rejuvenation. You know, I come out, I'm like, dude, I feel 20 again, you know what I mean? So that's for me, and a lot of people, it's a similar thing from what they tell me, and then, you know, it just varies person to person. So my sessions, I'll float hour and 15, hour and a half, and that seems to be good for me. Longest float I've done is like three and a half hours, you know, and I came out and it literally like, I came out and I felt like I just got a full night's sleep, you know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people come in with like back pains, knee pains, shoulder pains, post-surgery, and they come out and they swear by me. And they have people come out and like, oh my God, dude, I haven't been able to move my shoulder like this. And you're no joke, no exaggeration at all. Like I have people coming out like saying it was a total, they can't believe it. We have a lot of people coming with high anxiety, stress, you know, so it just centers them, you know what I mean? And they just keep coming back like, oh my God, I need people that are overworked, overstressed out, specific disorders, you know, so someone comes in with fibromyalgia, you know, and it just really helps, it helps with them, you know, so, I mean, I have different experiences all the time, and I do two different things. One, I'll go back there and I'll shut down. So that's what I started doing. Like the first 50, 60 floats I had, like that's all I did. I just went back there and I tried to completely blank slate on my mind. And then now, sometimes if I'm going through like I'm having problems, whatever it is, work, I'm overstressed out, I'll go back there and almost use it like a thinking tank. So I'll go back there, you know, there's no distraction, so you can actually think through stuff really clearly. So let's say you're having issues in a relationship, issues at work, issues with something in life, you can actually go back there and think really about as clear-headed ever. And I've come to really good decisions back there that I wouldn't have been able to come to at home, sitting in bed, you know what I mean? Because there's always some kind of noise, your neighbor's stepping, you know what I mean? There's no way to fully shut down like that. So I've used it as a thinking tank as well. The only thing I can say is some people it's hard for them to shut down and it's hard for them to get in, you know what I mean? A lot of people care about immediate like physical results, right? So like they want to go get Botox done or go and get something that right away. But if you think about it, you get back there, you're a more relaxed person. Your body feels better. You're gonna age better. You know what I mean? So like the more people understand that, like this, if I had one of these in my house, dude, I get in at least 2 times a week here. But you know, with work and everything, you know what I mean? But I mean, this is something that, man, if everyone, no joke, if everyone floated 2-3 days a week, man, probably everyone would be way more chill. There wouldn't be like the crazy road rage. Why is this so unique? Where else can you do full sensory deprivation and shut everything down? You can go in a dark room, right, turn off the lights, but the feeling that's because there's other isolation tanks you can go into, like little isolation tanks, isolation barriers, but being the skin temperature of the water, you have that weightless feeling. So it's like, man, when you add that factor into not being able to hear, not being able to see, you know, that's what makes it unique. The most common deficiencies in Americans is magnesium, it's zinc, and it's vitamin D. People aren't getting enough of it. One, because kids these days, as far as the vitamin D, people are staying inside so much, they're not going in the sun, so they're not getting the vitamin D. That's why you're supposed to get your kids, not too much, but you're supposed to give them a vitamin D, calcium supplement, you know. Now that zinc, same thing, take it orally. Magnesium, you take it orally, but you know, not a lot of people don't take up magnesium orally. Not a lot of people do. So when you come in here, if you're deficient in zinc, you know, you come in and you just replenish your body of that zinc.
Then the time came for our attempts.
Alright, so I'm about to do some sensory deprivation.
What happened in that tank? Here are our experiences.
Okay, so my experience,
Sensory deprivation is pretty cool. It was a really fun experience. I've always been one to meditate. I just like the feeling you get afterwards, the total sense of awareness that you get of everything. But after you meditate, your senses really are intensified because you kind of try to cut all of your senses off. So you kind of you let a white noise kind of ring in your head, and then whenever you're done meditating, you start to feel everything around you. You're more aware, like you can hear everything. Your vision seems a little bit sharper.
So first we went in and we changed into our robe and slippers, and then we were led into the massage chair room. And I thought that the massage chair was just gonna rumble, but then it actually started to legit massage me. So I'll be honest, I was a little thrown off, but mostly just because I'm kind of ticklish, and so it was mostly just a tickly experience. If you're not ticklish and then if you have a high tolerance for pain,
Tickles.
then you'll be okay in the massage chairs. But for me, it wasn't very relaxing. All it really did was just make me more hyper. But so that probably was a factor into my whole experience.
It was pretty nice. It was more like a spa experience at first, and then whenever we actually started getting our massage, and then when she showed us our room where we were gonna float in, I got pretty excited. It's definitely a pretty relaxing experience.
Well, I loved it. Like, I thought it was amazing, but in the very beginning, I was kind of freaked out. So I went in, and I was really confident about it. And I had worked up like this whole imagination that it was going to be perfection.
But then we actually went into the tank, and first you're required to take a shower because you have to decontaminate your body or whatever. And then you get in, and at first I was a little confused because it was my first time, so I wasn't exactly sure the protocol for everything. But I remembered that you go in, and then you have to press the button to turn off the lights. And I was a little confused because I thought that the lights would automatically turn off, but they didn't.
And so I went in there, and I took a shower, and everything was great. And then when I went in there and the lights turned off, when I finally found the switch, because they didn't tell you where the switch was, they just said there was one.
But I found the button, and I turned it off, and I was like, I wonder if this is gonna turn off the light. And then it just became super dark. And in that moment, as soon as the lights went pitch black, I started having a panic attack.
Well, the lights turned off, and I did it without sound. So I also had a split moment where I was freaking out, and I kind of flailed a little bit. And I didn't know where I was and what I was doing. And so I was just frantically trying to touch the walls.
I had a music. The only sense that I had was my hearing, and I listened to a guided meditation so it could help me out while I'm trying to meditate in the tub, and it really worked. It kind of boosts your imagination.
I was immediately just thrown into a state of shock, and I just had to sort of readjust. I was like, oh my god, am I still here, And so what I did was I just kind of felt around, and I made sure I was still grounded to the earth, because I was suddenly I was really dizzy and I didn't know where I was anymore, which is kind of silly considering I didn't move. It's just the lights went out, and then I just suddenly was afraid.
And then I finally figured out how I was, and I also didn't use a pillow. And so I laid back, and it was alright, but I felt like I was falling backwards constantly, going at a 360 and just going, yeah.
And so I felt the walls, and I was feeling myself, and I was feeling the water, and I was just trying to become tethered to reality again. And so after a lot of hyperventilating and a lot of groping, I was able to calm down enough so that I could attempt to float. And so what I did was I laid down, and I was like, okay, time to relax. So I laid down, and I put my head back, and for some reason my breathing was really sporadic and uncontrolled. So I could hear my breathing just really... Oh, plus you have earplugs in, so it's even louder, so it's just
And so that was kind of scary. But eventually I got the pillow and got the salt out of my eyes because I had gotten some, which was freaking scary, and it burned.
So I really tried to calm my breathing down, but it didn't work. And so I had to sit up repeatedly to catch my breath and just sort of readjust myself. And every time I tried to lay down, I would get this feeling like I was falling because my head wasn't supported. So I felt really dizzy and nauseous, and I just kind of felt suffocated. And so multiple times I just had to grab myself and just deal with my panic attack. What happened was since the water is incredibly salty, when I sat up, all of the salt water dripped down my face, into my mouth, and into my eyes. And that's bad. And so they have a spray bottle in there, that is for that purpose. But of course it's pitch black, and so you have to grope the walls to find the bottle. And so when I finally got the bottle, I was just like frantically spraying my face, and I was able to calm down again. And I don't know, I just tried so many times to relax, and I just could not.
I thought about not much, just what's going on in your life and stuff, but that's not really good when you're actually meditating, so I tried to just make my mind as blank as possible and become one with the matter that I was surrounded by.
Eventually I decided to use the neck pillow. And the reason why I didn't use the neck pillow was because Sarah Mora told me Sarah Mora told me she had read some reviews online, and she said that most people found it uncomfortable. But at this point, I needed something to calm me down.
And so I got situated and it was pretty great. I kind of lost feeling of my body except for my hands, and it tingled a lot.
So I found it first, and then I yanked it out of its place, and I used it. First it was uncomfortable, but once I had adjusted it properly, I was able to just lay down, and like finally I didn't feel like I was falling anymore. I didn't feel dizzy or nauseous because I've had something to support me. So from then, once I had relaxed enough, then I could actually start to feel it.
It was definitely a really cool experience. I was looking more at it from a spiritual perspective because I liked to watch Joe Rogan's podcasts, the Vice documentaries, Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. It's because that's the segment of Vice that he did it on. So that's where I really got it from, and from then I kind of just sparked an interest in me.
What happened was I just let my hands float free, and my limbs were just floating, and my eyes were closed, and my breathing was regular finally, and I was able to just like lose feeling in my body essentially, and it was very relaxing. And I even contemplated going to sleep because I was so relaxed, but then I was like kind of afraid because I was like, oh God, what if I drown?
I tried to fall asleep, I did, just to see what maybe a dream that I could have, maybe if I could have a lucid dream. But I've never had a lucid dream, so it was just an attempt. But I really couldn't fall asleep. I think the moment was just too. I just built up before the experience so much that it kind of kept me from sleeping.
But unfortunately, this feeling of like really good relaxation only lasted about like 5 minutes.
And then I felt like it went way too fast because when the lights finally turned on, it only felt like I was in there for 5 minutes. And I got out and I kind of fell back in because my body was, I guess, half asleep. And so I just felt very heavy. And I stayed in the shower afterwards for like 20 minutes. I was dead to the world.
I felt just like I do after I meditate, but like times 10. Like, I was more aware of everything. I was a little tired because I was up with my eyes open, staring into darkness for a while, but I felt really good afterwards. I was really, like I said, all of my senses were intensified, so it was definitely a success in my eyes.
This feeling only lasted like 5 minutes, and then my time was up, so it was kind of underwhelming for me. But I would do it again because this time I would actually know what to do, and I would be much more open to the experience since I wouldn't be focusing on all the problems.
But it was great. I would recommend it, and I'm definitely going to do it more, even though it costs quite a bit. But I really think I'm going to be like once a month kind of girl. Yeah.
I think it's definitely not something that I would want to do a lot, just because I don't know. I don't really like the state that the Epsom salt leaves your skin in, but
if I would recommend it to everybody because I feel like it really was very beneficial just in that short window. So if you were able to actually get the full session and get an entire hour and a half or whatever of that relaxation, you could probably delve into places in your mind that you never thought you could, and you could feel amazingly relaxed.
Most experiences like this, I'm really skeptical at first because I think that a state that they describe to you is kind of unattainable, but it's all just it's kind of just the kind of person that you are.
Just the goal is stay calm, keep an open mind, and just know that you are safe even though you may not feel safe. So I totally recommend it.
Be open-minded about it, definitely. I would recommend other people to try it because everyone is different and everyone has the opportunity to really have an amazing experience.
All in all, just like any form of meditation, it takes a certain level of experience coupled with the right mental state in order to fully reap the benefits of sensory deprivation. For beginners like us, a perfect state of harmony and disconnection from the body is not easily attained. However, such a state is truly something to strive for, and in time, anyone can learn to fully let go.
Actually, I forgot my candies over there. Can you bring me that candy? That silver wrapped candy.
Which are their cookies, but
Okay.
you're gonna be eating the cookie. Be eating the cookie.
All right.
Am I in a good place?
I'm talking right now and I'm speaking about a documentary. Okay, now you can stop that.
Are we just gonna preview it?
Yeah, to see how it sounds. Because if you can't hear me.
Okay, I started it now.
Okay, well, sensory deprivation is pretty cool. It was a really fun experience. He's gonna think.
It's all good.
Alright. It's definitely a pretty relaxing experience.
You look so like you're gonna kill somebody.
It was alright. With the matter that I was surrounded by. And they see us and they're coming, definitely.
It's weird. Staring at us. Hi.
Hello.
I think this is their land.
Oh, is it really?
We can tell them what we're doing. It's not like anything done.
So they're
Anywho.
turning around.
So,
Did anything tingle or anything? Because I remember when I went in there, my hands were tingling.
you can't do it.
It just continuously staring. I was like, oh my god. We're not doing drugs, it's okay. Promise.
Well, for some.
We're not in the process.
We're gonna have to edit this.
Did you put on lotion afterwards? That might have helped.
I caked lotion on, actually.
It's possible.
Just go into it like it's gonna be something really fun. Or no, that doesn't make sense at all.
Maybe?
Try to be optimistic because it might not be something that you really enjoyed more than other things, but if you liked it, then you liked it.
Cute.
Here's my big question.
Okay, that's good for
Cool.
me.
Yeah, that's good.
Time is kind of winding down. No, it's 12:10.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, that only took like. Those people fucked me up.
You probably
Yeah.
turn it off.
Yeah, I'll turn it off. So what would I do? Oh.
Camera, stop. I'm trying to get a shot. Trying to get a shot. Oh shit. Oh no. No, no.
Camera.
Oh my god. Tamushka, get out of
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mom. I don't need that much more.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Who's the cutie? You're in the shot. You're in the way. I'm trying to get nature. Trying to get nature shots, so you're in the way. This is my dog. I love her. Okay, now go away.
They would be cut off from all light, all sound, and float seamlessly, and news of their benefits continue to attract more and more experiments. Nope. Intrigued by this, Narvaez urged our documentary group to look into this. No. So we headed to the. Blah blah blah. Spot clips. Blah blah blah. Do I say this? Oh boy. Oh my. Okay, that was delicious. Blah blah. Interviews. Nobody cares. Hey. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. All in all, just like any form of meditation. Nope, that doesn't sound good. Sweet! Yay! Okay. Saving. Oh, God, that was gonna be loud. Okay. And